What's up guys? It is Carly here bringing you day 28 of my 31 days of horror, and today we will be talking about a more of a comedy horror here, and that is Once Bitten from the year 1985. Now, this movie is actually, I believe, Jim Carrey's first starring role. I think he was in a few movies before this, but it's one of his first roles, which is interesting because he's really young in this movie, probably around my age, so kind of interesting to see. I've never seen this one before, and the reason I got it is, once again, it was a 1985 movie, and just picked it up for the 22 Shots podcast. Figured we'd kill two birds with one stone, and I would review it here. So, Once Bitten, the story with this one is you have Jim Carrey. He is a high school student, and he has a girlfriend, but his girlfriend takes things slow while he is, of course, a typical boy in high school, and he always really interested in is having sex and going all the way with someone, but his girlfriend wants to take things slow. So one night he goes out with some of his friends who also have, the same type of stuff on their mind, and he meets this beautiful woman who says to just call her the Countess, and you learn early on that this woman is a vampire, and she pretty much needs to find someone to seduce and take in so that she can stay youthful, and she, seduces him, and they have sort of this one-night stand type of thing, and he tries to go on with his life, but this woman keeps popping up everywhere, and he notices he starts to change a little bit, and he realizes that he is turning into a vampire, and he pretty much has to break the spell before it's too late. So, like I said, this movie is horror comedy, but I would say it's more of a comedy horror. Well, it definitely is. It's leans more on where it's a comedy first, and then the only reason it's got horror lumped into it is because it's obviously dealing with vampires, and as you know, vampires are from horror movies. It's also rated PG-13, so, nothing too horrific about this film. Like I said, it's more of the lighthearted comedy than anything. I thought I might not like it because, just based on this cover alone, it looks really stupid, in my opinion. It kind of looks like that 90s floating heads thing. Obviously, this is from 85, and it's just a bunch of people standing in front of the set background and stuff like that. So, I just thought it kind of looked dumb, and the plot to it just didn't seem like it would really appeal to me, but I actually enjoyed this one. I thought it was a fun time. Is it absolutely hilarious? I would say no, not really. It's more along the lines of just fun, and it's got some stupid comedic moments in it. There were a few times where I found myself smiling or laughing a little bit, but I didn't find it to be overly hilarious or anything like that, and but that's okay. I feel like honestly, with me, a lot of comedy movies, especially older ones, I don't really laugh out loud or anything like that when I watch them. It just doesn't really get to me like that, but I just find them to be fun and enjoyable to watch with the characters and just watching them and stuff like that. Jim Carrey, I really enjoy him in the role. I think he does a pretty good job, and yeah, overall it's just a fun movie. It's hard to really talk about this one because it is more comedy than horror, and I find it's kind of hard to review a comedy other than, talking based on the characters and whether or not it made you laugh, which this one didn't necessarily make me laugh, like I said, but it was just enjoyable to watch and lighthearted, and it's one, if you're feeling down or anything like that and you don't want to watch something depressing, this is something that I think would be pretty entertaining and enjoyable to watch. I do like the way Jim Carrey kind of transforms into this vampire type of person. There is a part where they actually go to a Halloween party, which is cool. I always enjoy seeing that there is a Halloween setting in a movie when I'm not expecting it, and they go to it and he says he forgot to buy a costume, but he's got his hair slicked back, and he's wearing sunglasses, and he's really pale and wearing all black, so everyone assumes he's dressed as a vampire, and I found that part to be pretty entertaining, and I think he does look pretty good as the vampire, just the way they make him look pale and stuff like that, so I thought that was decent. And the movie has a decent wrap-up as well, where they kind of get thrown, everything kind of comes full circle, and they're trying to escape this Countess woman before everything is too late. So overall, I do think it's a fun movie, and I do recommend it if you like these sort of light-hearted comedies, especially, from the 80s. I think that's kind of the best years for comedies, in my opinion. I always enjoyed just the high school setting of the 80s too, and it makes me wish I kind of grew up around that time period. So I do recommend this one. I mean, I know it's not necessarily a horror movie, but I think if you just want to sit back and watch something that's kind of a fun time more than anything, you would probably enjoy this. So I give Once Bitten a 7 out of 10. I think that's a pretty fair rating for it. So yeah, thank you guys once again for joining me for day 28 here of my 31 Days of Horror, and I will see you tomorrow for day 29.